My marriage just imploded. 3 years gone. And for what? A damn luxury vacation. I'm 33, a banker, and up until a couple of months ago, I thought I had things figured out. Mindy, my now ex-wife, 30, and we met through friends, dated 4 years, then got hitched. We both worked in banking, had a lot in common. Or so I thought. After we got married, she quit her job to join a friend's startup. She'd saved some cash, and I told her I'd support her. Which I did. She always wanted her own business, like her parents, who ran a small-scale makeup thing for locals. Mindy wanted bigger. I backed her. My family's in business too, a bakery started by my grandfather. My dad took it over, made it huge. We're doing well. But that business, it's going to my brother. I don't mind. I like my job. I want to stick to it. Then, a couple of months ago, my parents passed. Dad had heart problems for years, finally a cardiac arrest. Mom died during the pandemic. It was a brutal time. Mindy was great through it all, and I was genuinely grateful to have her. My brother, who's a couple years older, and I had to sort out Dad's affairs. It was sudden. Our parents' lawyer told us about this clause in their will, no inheritance until both parents were gone. Now it was time. Sounded like something out of a movie, which I thought was kind of cool. Mindy, not so much. She called it diabolical. There was another clause. After probate, we both had to be in the same room for the reading. More theatrics from my parents, who were always big on that kind of thing. I didn't mind it, but Mindy hated it. She never really liked my parents. Said they made her nervous, like they were looking down on her. I told her that was bullshit, tried to convince her otherwise, but she never bought it. 2 weeks ago, my brother and I finally met for the will reading. Property split equally. My brother gets the business, which made sense. He'd been running it while Dad was sick. I got the house. Not just a house, a sprawling estate, my childhood home. It's worth a hell of a lot. I was happy. All the cash they left was split equally too. Other properties not listed? Sold for charity. My brother and I were fine with it. It was fair. Mindy, though? She had an issue. She thought the business should have been mine too, that we could run it together. I told her, no way. I'm happy with my job. Pays well, I'm in a good spot. My brother put in the work, he knows that business inside and out. It wouldn't have been fair. He deserves to be the sole owner. He's got a killer business mind, and I'm proud of him. We have a solid relationship. He'd bail me out, no questions asked. But Mindy wasn't happy. She was pacified, though, by the mansion. That place, it's old. My great-grandfather, my mother's dad, built it. My mother's family was loaded too, old money, aristocracy or something. Her dad was a top lawyer back in the day. Generational wealth, but my parents, they worked their asses off. Never looked down on anyone. Raised me the same way. Mindy knew all this. But the second she found out I inherited the estate, she started in. Sell it, she said. Get a great price, then go on a luxury vacation. I mean, we could afford a vacation anyway. But she didn't want a normal vacation. She wanted us to both quit our jobs, take off for months, a world tour. Said it wouldn't be possible chained to our desks. But if we sold the house, we could travel for months, then come back and find new jobs. I thought it was a crazy plan. More than that, I didn't want to quit my job. I love my work, the people I work with. Mindy, though, she hated working. Her and her friend's startup wasn't doing as well as they hoped. Mindy handled the finances, constantly complaining about how long it was taking to scale up, to become profitable. They were doing okay, but it wasn't enough for her. She was making less than she did at the bank. I was getting frustrated with her. I respected her for trying to build something of her own, but I could only sympathize so much. I wasn't quitting my job. It wasn't fair for her to demand that. So I put my foot down. No, I told her. Not selling the property. Not for a 6-month vacation, not for anything. That house? It's my childhood home. It holds a ton of sentimental value. Asking me to sell something that means so much to me for a damn vacation? Ridiculous. When I said no, Mindy lost it. Called me selfish. Said she shouldn't have expected any better. Because I was my parents' kid, and I was doing the same thing to her that they had done all their lives, looking down upon her. She claimed she wasn't asking for much. I thought it was a hell of a lot. And calling me selfish for not wanting to quit my job or sell my home? That was beyond ridiculous. I told her so. She completely snapped. We had the worst argument of our marriage. We said truly awful, mean things to each other, trying to hurt each other. After a while, she packed her bags and left, went to her parents' place. She said she wouldn't be back until I changed my mind about the vacation. Said it wasn't about the vacation anymore, it was about the principle. Said I was never willing to make sacrifices for her, or prioritize our marriage, and she was sick of it. I didn't even know what the hell she was talking about. It sounded like a bunch of bullshit she was pulling out of her ass to guilt-trip me. I asked for an example of when I'd ever put her down. She couldn't come up with anything. It was a stupid argument fueled by pure rage. And I regret it. I do love my wife, and I want her back. But what she said was cruel, unnecessary. She made me feel like the villain for not wanting to quit my job just because she hated hers. Then she started on my parents. That was a low blow. They're gone. They can't defend themselves. Call me sensitive, but talking shit about the dead is bad taste. I had no idea where half of it came from. She claimed my parents always looked down on her, and made her feel inferior, just because she wasn't from a wealthy family, not their class. I swear to God, I have no idea what she was talking about. My parents were always perfect to her. They never judged people based on wealth. That's how they raised me. Anyone who knew them would back me up. All of it, insulting my parents, calling me selfish for things that weren't selfish, that's what made me decide. I wasn't contacting her unless she reached out first. This fight was personal. I hadn't told anyone, not even my brother, who I'm super close with. And that was my mistake. A couple of days ago, my brother couldn't reach me. I was in a meeting. He had something important to tell me. He didn't know about the fight. So he called Mindy. Told her what he wanted to tell me. I'd asked him to do some research, find out something for me, something big, and I'd agreed to whatever he found. He then told me Mindy was happy about it. When I asked him what he meant, he said he'd spoken to her first because I wasn't answering. I felt a knot in my gut. Then I told him about the fight, how she'd moved out. So her being happy about whatever this was wasn't a good sign. But I still wanted to get the deal done with his realtor friend. I'd deal with the Mindy mess later. Now that she knew my plans, I had no idea what she'd do. I was kind of hoping she'd apologize eventually. And she did reach out that evening. She sounded morose. I honestly thought she was going to apologize for all the horrible things she said, especially about my parents. I was expecting her to say she was sorry, that she'd been out of line. Instead, she started off by saying she'd heard about my plans with my brother and wanted to make things right. Said she wanted to come home and discuss everything. I was taken aback. No apology? I know it sounds entitled, but I felt like she owed me one. So I asked her directly, "You don't have anything else to add? You're not going to apologize for what you said?" She said she wasn't sorry. Said it was way overdue. Claimed everything she'd said the other day was out of anger, but she'd been feeling that way for a long time. Apparently, she felt like she'd never really been a part of my family, even after 3 years of marriage, just because of the place she came from. She said it might have been something within herself, an inferiority complex of sorts. But our behavior around her didn't help either, because we were constantly just showing off how wealthy we were, and how different she was from us. That was the stupidest thing I'd ever heard. We were never like that. I can tell you, she was making all that shit up. It was all in her head. What would I gain from rubbing my wealth in my wife's face, of all people? That was pure garbage, and I told her so. I was getting fed up with her constantly playing the victim. My parents had been nothing but lovely to her. The fact that she was making up things to make them look bad was getting on my last nerve. I told her I wasn't speaking to her unless she acknowledged she screwed up. She said she wasn't going to do that. In the heat of the moment, I told her if she wasn't sorry for what she'd said, then there was nothing more to talk about. No point in another discussion. I told her I was filing for divorce. Said she'd better get a lawyer. Then I hung up. I guess that's what really scared her. Ever since I said divorce, she's been calling me relentlessly, begging me to forgive her. She keeps saying I'm making a way bigger deal of this than I need to. That I'm blowing things out of proportion. But even now, she hasn't apologized. She's begging me to take her back, give her a chance to explain. I don't owe her that. Not until she apologizes for the horrible things she said about my family. My parents are gone. It was disgusting of her to blame them for her nasty behavior. I spoke to my brother. He agrees. He thinks I should hold out until she admits she made a mistake. She's been texting nonstop, but I haven't replied. What do you even say to someone who refuses to admit they were wrong? She's insistent that if we just meet in person and talk, I'll see her side, and maybe forgive her. But I'm not meeting her until she accepts she screwed up. She's being immature. I'm honestly exhausted by all this frustration. Last night, she texted again. I made it clear, I'm not talking to her or meeting her until she apologizes. That's my final decision. I gave her an ultimatum, 3 days to make up her mind, or I'm filing for divorce. I can't go on like this. I love her, I really do. But I can't let her disrespect me and my family, get away with it constantly. I get that she never liked my parents, maybe she has internal issues she needs to work out. But that doesn't give her an excuse to speak ill of the dead. She said I was being unfair, selfish, for behaving this way just because I had a massive inheritance to look forward to. Said I was putting wealth over her and our marriage. I don't know what the hell she was hinting at, but I didn't like the implication that I prioritize money over my marriage. That's not me. Even now, after all she said, I'm still trying to make things work. Giving her a chance. But it seems like she's the one who doesn't care if it works. She only wants things her way, even when she's not in a position to make those calls. I feel suffocated. I don't know where to go. My brother thinks I should file for divorce, that this is spiraling. I guess he's right. But for my own peace of mind, I need a second opinion. I don't want to screw this up. This is a big deal. My marriage is breaking up. I take relationships seriously. I need to know I'm doing the right thing, that I won't regret it later. Am I the asshole for wanting a divorce after my wife insisted I sell my childhood home so we could quit our jobs and go on a 6-month world tour? It's been 2 weeks since I posted here, and a couple of days ago, I finally filed for divorce. I met Mindy last week. She wouldn't stop texting me, and honestly, I just wanted to get it over with. To be straight, by the time I made that post, I'd already moved on in my head. I just needed to be sure I wasn't making a mistake, that I wouldn't regret it. After reading most of the comments, I knew I was doing the right thing. So I went for it. When I met her, we had lunch at a restaurant. I wanted it impersonal. Didn't want a scene. It was awkward seeing her after all that time. I wanted to leave, but I'd committed. I wish I could say she said something new, or that we worked things out. We didn't. And that's why I'm getting a divorce. She said the same things again. Even if my parents hadn't treated her badly, she just felt like they didn't respect her. Because she wasn't from a rich family. It was exasperating. At this point, even she knew it was all in her head, that she was just making things up to hate my parents. I told her she needed to stop. She said she couldn't. Just turn it off. That's how her brain functions. And I needed to understand that. I do understand that she has issues, and I respect that she's aware of them. But I can't let her constantly walk all over me, let it slide, just because she has issues. She said I was being selfish for not putting her above a stupid house. My parents left me, that it felt like I was telling her she wasn't worth it. I told her, once and for all, that was an unfair, stupid comparison. I was sick of her trying to make me look like the bad guy for basic things. Like not wanting to sell the house I grew up in, or not wanting to quit a job I'm happy with. I felt like she was constantly projecting her own shit onto me, and I'd put up with it for too long. I told her I'd been thinking about it, and I was filing for divorce. I didn't want to be with her anymore. She looked a little shocked when I said it, but thankfully, no scene. She said she respected it. Said she wouldn't have preferred things to end this way, but there was no other option. Things were too far gone for reconciliation. And that was it. We haven't spoken since. She blocked me everywhere, which I should have seen coming. I've filed the papers. It'll be final in a couple of months. Not worried about the inheritance or anything, we had a prenup. So it should be relatively easy on the legal side, but it's still gonna be emotionally draining. Just bracing myself for it. Quick update here. Today I found out Mindy won't be contesting the divorce. I don't know how to feel about that. I guess I'm relieved it's finally ending. But I'm also low-key upset that my marriage is over. The fact that she's not fighting it really makes it feel real. It's weird and sad. But this is what I wanted, and it's happening. So I just have to make my peace and move on. I've started packing up stuff I don't need, things we bought together. Don't want reminders around the house. The divorce will be hard enough without that. My friends and brother have been there for me, and I'm damn grateful for that. They're helping me through it. Hey. Really quick update. My divorce with Mindy came through a couple of weeks ago. It was a straightforward process. The only hard part was saying goodbye for the last time. I figure it was just as hard for her as it was for me, but she didn't let it show. Things are different now. I'm trying to accept it.